end of
Senator
the day.
Graham.
Okay, thank you. Well, you are what you eat. So, so bottom line, I appreciate you coming, Mr. Secretary. Is the southern border secure?
I think it's fair to say, Senator, that there are ways in which we can improve.
No, that's not the question. Is it secure?
Well,
If you can't figure this out,
no.
is that a hard question?
Well, it can be a hard question.
Well, it's
Okay.
not today because
Well-
a million people came across at all-time highs with no end in sight. If we legalize one person under this program, which I've been historically for, how will it affect border security? Will there be a run on the border?
I don't believe so. In fact,
You don't believe so. You
no,
don't
the-
believe
the
that
reason-
if we give legal status to hundreds of thousands of people without first securing the border, there won't be a rush on the border?
I don't believe so.
Why?
Well, in large part because the people we're talking about within the ag workforce are people that have been here
Do you
for a
understand
long period of
magnets?
time.
Do you understand pull factors?
I understand the nature of this workforce. I also understand
Do
the
you
nature of the work.
understand that if you give legal status to one person without first
Senator,
securing the
what-
border, you're going to have a run on the border 10 times worse
No,
than
I
you
don't
have
believe
today?
so,
You
Senator.
don't believe that?
No, and the reason I don't is because I think the primary
I just think that's ludicrous. I think I've been involved in every immigration bill there has been, and we always secured the border first because of this very reason. You don't give amnesty and hope people won't keep coming. You secure the border, then you provide legal status. We're doing it ass backwards. And Mr. Chairman, you know, we've had our differences. I like you a lot. We've had 2 committee hearings about legalizing people. We haven't had one hearing yet about the status of the border. And if you don't believe legalization through DACA or ag workers will create a run on the border, you're not listening to the people at the border. When I was chairman, you asked me, your committee did, the Democrats asked me to have hearings about the status of confinement, the way kids were being treated. We had 3 different hearings with the Department of Homeland Security acting director to come so you could ask questions about conditions of confinement and our policies on the border. I have asked for a hearing. Senator Grassley's asked for a hearing. There's no way in hell we can legalize anybody until we first understand the effect it would have on the border and whether or not it would incentivize further illegal immigration. And Mr. Secretary, you're a fine man. I think you're very good at your job. But if you can't figure out that legalization without first securing the border doesn't create a problem, then you really don't understand this issue. And Mr. Chairman, when you asked me to do things that some of my people didn't want to do, we did it. We had hearings. It is now time for this oversight committee to have a hearing about what the hell happened at our border. In December 2020, we had the lowest crossings, illegal crossings, in 45 years. Now, 6 months later, we have an explosion of illegal immigration, no end in sight because of policy changes by the Biden administration, I believe. But it's imperative that this committee do oversight over a broken border to try to figure out what the hell happened in the last 6 months. And if we did some of the things being suggested by the Secretary and by other people about legalizing any population, what effect would it have on illegal immigration? My belief is it would lead to an explosion of illegal immigration. And I'll ask you again, tell me why, if we legalized hundreds of thousands of workers, which I'm willing to do, without first securing the border, you don't believe it would create further border security problems. Explain that to me.
Do you want an explanation?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I think primary reason why people are crossing the border, Senator, is because they've got a very difficult experience economically back home. So first and foremost, if you're truly interested in securing the border,
I'll stop you right there. What happened in the last 6 months?
You asked me to respond, and I'm going to respond.
Yes,
Okay,
if you wanted
good.
to respond.
Go ahead and finish, and I'll follow up.
Fair enough. If you're truly serious about that piece of it, then I think we have to take a look at how we can help create better opportunities south of our border.
So you don't believe catch and release has had an effect on the surge in illegal immigration?
You ask a question about the agriculture workforce.
But you've given answers about immigration.
Well, no, I'm asking. I'm here to talk.
You answered that the key is to give more money to the Triangle countries.
No,
is that the key?
The key is helping them build their own economy.
We've been trying to do that for years.
I don't know how well we've been trying to do it, but I will tell you this.
You don't believe the change in policy has affected a wave of illegal immigration? You don't believe eliminating remaining in Mexico has affected a surge of people seeking asylum claims?
It's a complicated issue.
No, it's not. It's
Yes, it
not
is, Senator.
complicated at all.
Now,
And
Senator, you know it's complicated.
well,
You know it's
you're
complicated.
making, no, it's not. It's
Oh,
really
sure
simple.
it is. Yeah, no, it's not
So,
simple.
so
It's
let
not
me
simple.
just
It's
say
very
this,
complicated.
put a fine point on it. What the hell has happened in the Triangle countries in 6 months where we went from the lowest illegal crossings coming from that part of the world to the highest?
The pandemic and food shortages.
So that's what you believe. It's not changing the policy of remain in Mexico, abolishing the idea that you have to wait in Mexico, you're not released into the country. You can't figure out that when the the Biden administration canceled remain in Mexico, they'll let you come into the country and they release you into the country and you never show up for your hearing, that catch and release program. Have you ever talked to the Border Patrol about this? Have you ever had a discussion about the pull factors with the Border Patrol? Have you ever had one? Yes or no?
Yes.
When?
My first stint.
Well, when was that?
Well, I don't remember the year, sir.
Okay, has it been in the last 10 years?
It may have been.
Has it been the last year?
No.
Okay. Go talk to them and you'll find out how wrong you are if you talk to them.
Well,
The last oversight hearing in the Judiciary Committee under the previous chairman was on a subcommittee hearing on January 16th, 2018, 2.5 years ago. President Biden has been in office officially yesterday, I think 6 months. So in terms of oversight of the Department of Homeland Security, there is a record of a hearing 2.5 years ago. I would also add that I called this hearing with Senator Padilla because most Americans will be sitting down to dinner tonight through the weekend and enjoying food that's being picked to a large part by migrant farm workers, and we're trying to figure out a way to deal with this. And if the premise is that we can't do anything on immigration until we do everything on immigration, we'll be right where we've been for 36 years, doing nothing.
Mr. Chairman, may I respond?
You may.
On March the 6th, 2019, we held an oversight hearing with Customs and Border Protections responding to the smuggling of persons at the southern border. On June 2nd, 2020, we had an oversight hearing entitled Examining Best Practices for Incarceration and Detention During COVID-19. We've had, I've called the acting DHS secretary twice because you were concerned about families being separated. So was I. You cannot understand this issue until you have a hearing on the border and how legalization would affect the wave of illegal immigration. If you don't secure your border first, Mr. Chairman, then you're going to incentivize more illegal immigration. That's why every bill you and I have worked on had border security as the first thing. And to the Secretary of Agriculture, you're a fine man. I want to work with you on this program, but you need to go talk to the Border Patrol, because if you spend 15 minutes talking with them, they will tell you that the pull factors have been created in the last 6 months. And if we legalize one person, the worst is yet to come.